Sunday check-in seems to be the thing to do for me. Not doing anything outside today because I had a lot to do inside. And as you can see, I got some Christmas lights. That's cool, But, and it looks like I'm going to take off like a helicopter because I got the thing going on around my head. It's actually kind of funny. Anyhow, just wanted to touch base, check in for my YouTube peoples, my communities, and also to speak, I don't know, it's like talking to yourself. Talking to yourself is healthy, as long as it's not like imaginary friends and stuff and you're like really like legitimately loco or whatever, but it's good to talk to yourself. So that's kind of what this does for me, as I've said before. But anyhow, and it's like also fessing up to where I've messed up, but then also patting myself on the back for where I've been doing good. Haven't smoked any weed since I last reported, so it's been, I guess, around 9 or 10 days in that neighborhood, something like that, 8, 9, 10 days, something. So I think that there's still a little bit of fog from that because I talked before about how smoking consistently created a fog, and that's not good. So I think that the fog is slowly lifting and I'm slowly getting back to being myself, which is nuts because that was just 5 days of smoking weed every day. It may have been 6. See, that's the weed. I don't know the exact count of how many days it was. But 5 or 6 days, and it's nuts that even just that has caused my mind to be like, so I'm slowly getting myself back. And I may have mentioned this on the last video, and I may not have, but I was talking to a buddy of mine back in Georgia, and one example I gave too, I talked about going to the administrator office and forget what I was there for. But another thing too is like, so my job, I go on appointments, I go meet people in their homes and, discuss their lighting needs, what they want to light, how they think it'll look. And we also talk about, it could be replacing existing fixtures, putting new fixtures in, types of fixtures, where the fixtures are going to go, how many, color, blah, 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 all this good stuff. And I had gotten to the point where, without smoking, where I was able to do these appointments and not even really take notes. I would take photos of locations, and then when I got back to the office later in the day, I would just know what I discussed. And after smoking, like that was like starting to go away. And I had an appointment, cool lady. And so, she's like, so you're not taking any notes, huh? I was like, no. Just like the waiter that doesn't have a notepad. And she goes, well, I'll say the same thing I say to them. And she said, I can't wait to find out what I'm eating or whatever. But then like I had a moment where I'm like, wait a minute, I probably should be taking notes. And legitimately, like I had lost the ability to do it without taking some kind of notes. So in the past, I'd always wonder, how could a waiter or waitress do that without taking notes? And chances are it's because they weren't smoking a shit ton of weed and that sort of thing. On the flip side, like, someone brought up Joe Rogan, and I get that. But I also know that Joe Rogan is like a beast with everything else in his life. He makes notes when he wakes up in the morning of, tasks that he has to complete that day. He's on a relatively strict regimen as far as his diet and what he consumes. He obviously works out. He continues to test his mind and grow. I mean, perhaps if you are doing all those things, you can afford to smoke weed occasionally. I don't think that he smokes all the time like some might believe he does. I feel like he's probably more of an occasional, every other day type smoker. I could be wrong, fuck if I know, but I know he doesn't wake and bake. But either way, perhaps if you spend enough time priming your mind and getting to where you go through these rituals and regiments and goal setting and goal seeking and goal accomplishing, and you have discipline and all this stuff, and you do that enough, perhaps it's okay to smoke every couple of days, or maybe even in the evenings, and it's okay to smoke in the evenings. I don't know. I've never been there before. For me, it's dusting off the cobwebs of all the weed that I have smoked and learning to be disciplined and I'm slowly incorporating things. You know, one of the new things I did this week is I found some crock pot recipes and I started creating my own food at home. Not to say that I've never cooked before, but that's like, you know, a step in the right direction for stretching the dollar, because, you know, I made some chili that breaks out into like 5 different meals. And I think it probably cost me 10 or 12 bucks, you know, to put all that shit together. So pretty excited about that. And I know I'm kind of like just fucking going all over the board here, but I have drank in the last week 3 nights out of the last 7 nights I've drank. Not drinking tonight, and I'm going to keep going with not drinking after tonight. And I don't think I'm going to drink on Thanksgiving. Pretty sure I'm not going to. I'm just going to go to my sister's and hang out there and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and push forward and get to Christmas Eve without drinking, and then have a celebratory beverage or 7 on Christmas Eve. That's the goal. But I have been in the gym or doing something active every morning, pushing myself to do something active, and it feels so good to do that and start the day that way. So, you know, I'm starting to see a little bit more definition in like my shoulders and stuff like that. And I know that the more I don't drink, the more weight I'll lose. I made like a shit ton of hard-boiled eggs a week ago, and I was eating those for breakfast, and like avocados and bananas, and as like a snack I'm having like granola shit that like appears to be healthy, and like tuna and hot sauce. Gotta put the hot sauce on tuna, right? They don't taste damn good. So that's way better than before. Salads for lunch. I do have a crock pot dish right now that's spaghetti. That's probably not the healthiest thing, but I'm also trying to stretch $1 right now. So it's that, and also portion control, but I'm doing better with my diet overall. I haven't had a Coke Zero. It's probably been 10 days, and I was really drinking a shit ton of those. I think it's been about 10 or 11 days since I've had a Coke Zero, which is good. So I drink like the, sometimes like the sparkling flavored water from Publix or whatever. And aside from that, just drinking water. I'm not drinking any coffees or any other toxins of that nature, just drinking water. And then of course I have been drinking beer in the evening on 3 nights. So there's that. But my overall daily activity and what I'm doing is good. And I'm that much closer to cleaning off the cobwebs of the weed I was smoking. I'm still kind of there, but I've also been watching Netflix all day today. Watching some Christmas stuff, because I like getting in the Christmas spirit. It makes me feel all good and warm and fuzzy on the inside. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's it. So nothing but the fan, the lights in my face today. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you out there for being a part of my YouTube communities. And I love you all in some way, somehow. Maybe not intimacy, but there is a love there. And I hope that you all have an amazing Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones and whoever it is you choose to spend it with. Even if it's just a dog, you can still have a happy Thanksgiving, because as I'm learning, happiness comes from within what's inside. Fumbling on my words, but it comes from what's inside. And that's where true happiness is born. It's on the inside, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what we gotta work on. All right? One love. Real deal out.